All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rechakodash. Double honors to the Apostle Elders Great Millstone, and salutes on to brothers out there preaching the word, sharing the truth. All right, coming to another video. This current event update. Well, not update, just basically a current event, because I never done a video on this, on leprosy, on leprosy, how it still exists. Leprosy is a ancient, disease that that Yahweh Shah created to plague the people. All right, the people of the earth, the wicked people of the earth. So this is July 28th, 2023, and you see the title: Leprosy cases in Central Florida account for nearly 20% of national cases. Okay. And the Lord is going to increase this plague of leprosy. All right. Rising evidence is pointing to the possibility that leprosy has become endemic in the southeastern U.S., with Florida being named among the top reported states. And recent published research letter regarding emergency infectious diseases, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention said that Florida is witnessing an increase in leprosy cases, lacking traditional risk factors, and recommending that travel to Florida be considered when conducting leprosy contact tracing in any state. Leprosy, which is scientifically known as Hansen's disease, is a chronic infectious disease that primarily affects the skin and peripheral nervous system. Basically, leprosy, you can see in the photo D, you can see the guy's foot. The top of his foot is his regular pigmentation, but the bottom of his foot is lacking pigmentation, lacking melanin. All right, and that's basically what leprosy is. The Lord strips the pigmentation from your skin. Now, the so-called white man, Esau Edom, all right, he is a clean leper. Okay, well, basically mean he has no pigmentation in the skin. Okay, you call that a clean leopard, clean leprosy. All right, and I'm gonna jump to the scriptures too. Okay, let's see. The number of reported leprosy cases across the country has doubled over the past decade. According to CDC, citing data from National Hansen's Disease Program, CDC says there were 159 new cases reported in U.S. 2020. Nearly 70% of these new cases were reported in Florida, California, Louisiana, Hawaii, New York, and Texas. Florida stands out in the report for two reasons. Central Florida alone accounted for nearly 20% of the total number of cases reported nationally, and several new patients in Central Florida demonstrated no clear evidence of zoonotic exposures or traditionally known risk factors. Said Hansen's disease, leprosy, has never been common in the U.S., with most cases previously involving people who immigrated from leprosy endemic areas. But the new report shows that 34% of reported cases between 2015 and 2020 were locally acquired. Let's see. Leprosy is a disease primarily infects the skin and nerves in the skin, though it can sometimes affect other parts of the body, like the lining and the airway passages of the nose. According to Florida Department of Health, it has been around for thousands of years, with the earliest known records appearing in China and India around 600 BC. Let's see. All right, what are the signs and symptoms of leprosy? Early signs of leprosy includes pale or slightly red areas, rash on the body that is often associated with loss of sensation, affect the area, according to the FDOH. Okay. Pale or red. Okay, so let's jump to the scriptures here. All right, this is an account of what happened in in the wilderness after the children of Israel were delivered. All right, from Yahweh Shem Yahushua through Moses. All right. This is Numbers the 12th chapter, in the first verse. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, had the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. So Moses very humble. And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out, ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Lord came down in a pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle. As the Lord came down, in a chariot. So-called UFO, what the white man calls today. And called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitudes of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were we not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? So they was basically talking shit about Moses. A lot of jealousy was mixed into that as well. Verse 9, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, against Miriam and Aaron, and he departed, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. So the chariot departed, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. Okay, so these Israelites, dark-skinned Israelites. Okay, Miriam dark-skinned. All right, and the Lord made her as leprous. The Lord turned her into a clean leper. Basically, took the pigment away. All right, from her skin, quick. All right. She was leprous. Okay, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead. Okay, so a person with melanin in their skin, when they die, they lose the melanin. They turn what you call that, rigor mortis. I believe that's what it is. The body becomes stiff and you lose pigmentation. That because your spirit leaves your body. Let's see. Verse 12, let her not be as one dead, whom the flesh and half consume when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Yeah, when a baby comes out of the mother's womb, the baby is, the pigment is not in the, kind of not in the baby yet. It takes a few days for the pigment to come in, the melanin. All right, and Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, heal her now, O Yahweh, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? So the Lord wanted Miriam to be ashamed 7 days, man. Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days. And after that, let her be received again. So the Lord basically kicked her out the camp. So she had to leave. She had to part ways from her people. She had to live out in the wilderness by herself for 7 days, man. Because when you turn leprous, you can't touch anybody. You can't be around anybody. Okay? And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterward, the Lord humbled her as, You see the Lord didn't turn Aaron leprous. Aaron represents, the priesthood, man. But Miriam, a woman, a lot of these American women, Israelite women over here in America, they need to be turned leprous for 7 days. Be made blind for 3 days. That rectify a whole lot of demons in them. So that demon in Miriam for speaking against Moses, that part of the way. Yep. She got scared to death. And afterward, the people were moved from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran. All right, so let's grab the law on leprosy. I'm gonna read through this quick. And Leviticus 13:1, and the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising or a scab or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, and unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight deeper than the skin, his skin deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in the sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof turn white, then the priest shall shut up him that have the plague 7 days. Okay. See, it'd be basically quarantine. It said quarantine for 7 days, or leave the camp for 7 days, just like Miriam had to do. And the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague and in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. Okay. Quarantine, that's where you get 14. I believe that's what the quarantine means, 14 days. Yeah. And the priest shall look on him again the seventh day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, when it's, pigmentation comes back in, and the plague spread not in the face, the priest shall pronounce him clean. Is it but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he has been seen of the priest of his cleansing, he shall be seen in the sight of the priest again. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprosy. When the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be a quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him, that hath the plague from his head even to the foot, whereof the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, so the pigmentation is gone. Turned into a so-called white person, basically. He shall pronounce him clean that have the plague, a clean leopard. It is all turned white. He is clean. Well, when the raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean. So he basically is unclean, but is a clean leper, And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean, for the raw flesh is unclean, it is a leprosy. I'm basically going to stop right there. So this is basically the laws on leprosy. So, let me grab this. Grab this last scripture. I got scripture saying returning. Plagues of Egypt was one per 4. Maybe that's 15. Yes. Second Ezra 15:11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm, and smite Egypt. But modern day Egypt is America. And smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So that ancient plague, that plague of leprosy was all the way back into Egypt. Ancient Egypt, that was a plague, a disease. So that disease exists today, in 2023, in Great Babylon, Sodom and Egypt, which is America. So, that's pretty much all I got. Shalom.